Every year I know we gonna go hard. We been that team ever since Bart started. All my cheese heads go pack go. Ain't showing no mercy, cutting no slack, no. I ain't a bad sport and I'll even wish you good luck. Only thing I will
Welcome to Lombardi's Legends podcast. Dane here with Wags. Super excited today, man. We have an incredibly special guest. Folks, we got a Packer with us, a long snapper, BR Hatcher. BR, welcome to Lombardi's Legends podcast, dude. We are so pumped to have you on. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Oh, man. No, thanks for taking the time. I know, OTAs, everything that's going on. You got a lot flying at you. Taking the time to hang out with the legends is incredible. So, dude, we got to ask you, first question, have to ask guys that have not been on the pod before. BR, how does it feel to be a Green Bay Packer?
It is a legitimate dream come true. Everyone grows up having their goals set pretty high. Imaginations run wild, and of course, mine always ran around sports. And I get to wake up every day and go to work as a professional athlete, and I can't thank God enough.
For sure. And BR, can you tell us a little bit about what went down and what the journey was in order for you to sign with Green Bay? Certainly you come in as an undrafted free agent, but what was the process like? What were the connections and how did that all come together for you?
Just a quick synopsis of it. I did my pro day at Old Dominion, did decently well. The special teams assistant coach here saw the film from it. He liked it. He reached out to my agent and brought me out for a tryout. And I came up for a tryout. That was during rookie minicamp. And here I am now for OTAs.
Wow. No, man. So was that expected? I mean, did you have goals in the NFL? Was this something where you thought upon graduation that you were like, you know what, I think I'm going to get a look in the NFL? Or, what did that look like? Because it's always fascinating, especially when we start talking about specialists, right? Quarterbacks, linebackers, what have you, there's a lot more roster spots. When we start talking about specialists, it becomes exceedingly limited very quickly. So, how did that look to you? Was that something that came as a bit of a surprise, or was it something where you knew, post draft, you were going to make the rounds and probably stick on a roster for a little bit?
I just talked to my agent and everything, and we knew that it would be a post-draft type deal. It's an undrafted free agent thing, and we knew that it was going to be not necessarily a long shot, but a decent shot that there's a chance people could pass over or people could bite on it, and we just kind of wished for the best, and the best happened.
Yeah, BR, I'm just kind of curious a little bit more of your background then as a football player. Were you always a long snapper? I'm guessing you played some other positions in your football journey. I saw that you set a school record for most tackles in punt coverage as a long snapper in school history at Old Dominion. So that's something that tells me that you're not afraid to go down and hit and that you're actually a really good athlete. I think sometimes long snappers get a little bit of a short shrift in terms of that reputation, but I'm just kind of curious what your background was coming up as a football player and kind of how that transition happened when you really settled in to that long snapping role.
So I remember I was in middle school and I've always played baseball my whole life, and I kind of have a bigger arm when it comes to throwing things. And the coach was kind of like, well, just bend over and throw it as far as you can. And so that's how I ended up doing it. And I met some coaches along the way with Cole's kicking organization. They trained me up on it. But other than that, I played mostly offensive line throughout high school, mostly left tackle. And then I would long snap on fourth down and field goals and everything like that. And then it just so happened on my camp tours, going into my senior year of high school, just trying to find somewhere to go on and keep playing football. Long snapping was the niche that I fell into that worked out the best for me. And like I said, now I'm here doing the same thing.
So you're probably gonna love us, BR. So I would argue not only are we hardcore Packer fans, but I argue that we're probably the most dialed in special teams interest in podcast out there. I love the specialist because it is really fascinating journey for you guys. I mean, so you're size wise, man. I mean, you're 6'4"?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I mean, you're a big dude, right? I mean, so what's that like? I mean, I'm kind of getting lost in the words a little bit, but going into that, like, what's your mindset? Is your mindset snap the ball and then just run down the field and hit somebody? Or is it, how does that look as a long snapper? Because we watch it on TV. We see, you place the ball. I mean, I assume that getting the ball to the punter, the holder, what have you, is the number one goal. But after that, what does that look like to you? Like, what's the mindset in a routine snap, say on punt coverage, look like for you?
I got you. In college, it was different because in college, very few teams really run the pro style set. So it's a snap and run down the field fast as you can and get in position to make a tackle along with the flyers on the outside. That's how I was able to get a couple of tackles in in college, just being in the right place, right time. But when it comes to the NFL scheme, you have to snap and then block. And we have to make sure everything's protected up front. So that's been a big thing here in OTAs, is learning how to get back into that kind of offensive line mentality of now I have a role picking up linebackers, picking up D linemen, trying to make sure everything's set, and then releasing and worrying about coverage.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So kind of just shifting then here into your current situation in Green Bay. What's your first impressions? You walk into Lambeau Field, into the locker room, you're at the practice facility, at the Don Hudson Center. I mean, you're walking around. Is it just business, or have you been able to take a few moments just to savor your surroundings and realize that you're living that NFL dream?
Yeah, I'm a big proponent on be where your feet are. That's just a saying, a phrase that we used to use a lot in college, of making sure you were focused and locked in on where you were. But I take it a little bit further into life, where the most important moment is the moment you're in. And so whenever I got to Lambeau for the mini camp, for the tryouts and everything, and then whenever I got back up here for training and OTAs and everything, it's every day I just go in there, and it's still breathtaking because I get to sit there and I walk around. I mean, there's AJ Dillon, there's what you call it? I'm blanking. There's a Pat O'Donnell, like the punter, who's a 10-year vet, who's awesome. I grew up watching him with the Bears and everything. And I get to work with these guys. There's Jordan Love. I mean, there's so many people in there that, me and my buddies, my parents, we've always grown up like watching them on TV and everything. And I get to sit there and go like, yeah, I work with that guy. And every day it's just such a grateful moment that I get to have in the mornings.
So you go to rookie mini camp, right? And the Packers bring in a number of rookies after they sign some of the undrafted free agents and go through the draft. Three guys, I believe, yourself included, came out of that mini camp with contracts. So when you leave Green Bay, do you know that you're coming right back? Do you leave Green Bay at all? Or, is there a waiting game involved after that?
Are you talking about from mini camp onward, or from?
Yeah, after rookie mini camp, because I know you came in, but you weren't technically under contract, right? It was kind of like a tryout situation, right?
Yeah.
Do I have that right? And then from there, yeah. So do you know, leaving that kind of mini camp tryout, that you're coming right back, or do you have to wait a little bit, or what does that look like? I've always been curious.
Yeah. So immediately after our last practice of rookie mini camp, Coach LaFleur brought us all up that were there for it, and just said thank you for coming in and everything. And of course, numbers wise, you can't keep everybody. I mean, that's just the name of the game. And I was kind of telling myself in my head, I'm like, all right, well, hopefully I did good enough. We'll find out. And probably about 15 seconds after he got done speaking, I was walking over to pick up my gym bag, and I got called over to the side, and they let me know, like, hey, we're about to sign you. And it was such a whirlwind, of emotions. Just everything happened so fast. And I was like, you're talking about me, right? And so everything happened right then. And I knew as soon as I left, I knew, like, all right, I'm coming back in a week. And it was like, this is for real now. This isn't just anything that we're talking about or dreaming about or working towards. Like, you're coming back.
Yeah, that's really cool. And so, obviously the Packers signed Matt Orzik 3-year deal. It's a long snapper, and then they bring you in. So I know you're in there to compete, and that's what you're there to do, right? But that being said, what's your mindset, kind of approaching that competition, and a guy like Matt that they did invest in for a longer term time period, and what you can both learn from him and compete with him at the same time, and kind of what your whole mindset is with that competition as you move forward.
Yeah, I'm a big believer, and I think competition is the best teacher. Whenever you have to push yourself day in and day out, and you see your failures, you see your successes, like that teaches you what to do better than anything can in life. And Matt is such an awesome guy. I mean, he has truly been a mentor to me since the moment I stepped in the building. He's been a great guy. And yeah, I mean, of course, there's a competition. Everything in this league's a competition. But he has, he sat down with me. He's taught me the ins and outs of just how to be an NFL player because he has a couple years under his belt doing it. And he's taught me a lot about trying to, just learn what to do in our role and just how to expect everything to go. And it's, like I said, I genuinely don't believe I could have ended up anywhere better around any better people because these guys are awesome. And Matt, especially, he's just he's almost like a brother about everything. And it's just such a good time to be around him, and everything is just always working towards making each other better.
That's really cool. What does practice look like so far at the NFL level for a specialist? Because I imagine it's got to be different than some of the other position groups. And we've had the opportunity over the years to have other specialists on, but kind of curious from your lens. What does that look like? What's a day in the life of an NFL long snapper look like when you hit the practice field here?
Yeah, I will say that I was very fortunate to have Ricky Ronnie at Old Dominion coming from Penn State and everything, and his mentality and his emphasis on special teams really pushed us in our kicking game every day at practice to where there really wasn't a dull moment. As some colleges, I guess, the tight ends or something will look over after they're done running routes for 20 minutes. They look over and see the specialist sitting down. That wasn't our case. We were in there. We were in the lab. We're here to work. Mm-hmm. And that has really prepared me to be here for the emphasis that a professional specialist takes is you are here to work to be the best at your craft. And so, I mean, from start of practice to end of practice, you're working on something, whether it's footwork, whether it's ball release, whether it's scheme. You're here to get as good as you can. And it's just very, I guess, fast paced, a little bit quicker pace than the college scheme of it. But at the same time, it's just so fulfilling to know that you are actually getting better.
Yeah. And beyond that structure or that purpose to that every day, what have been your impression of the coaching staff with the Packers as you've started to integrate and work with them?
They are phenomenal. These guys are awesome. The special teams coordinator, Rich Bisaccia, I genuinely have the most respect for that man in the world. One, for taking a shot on me, taking a chance. And Byron Storer, his assistant, he works with me day in and day out. It's awesome working with those two guys. They're very knowledgeable about the game. Rich, I think, has been coaching for like 25, 30 years now. I mean, he has a lot of years under his belt, and he will tell you when you mess up, and he will tell you whenever you do good. And that's how I think everything should be done. That's how I was always raised. And so it's just, everything just feels so comfortable here. And in a way it's not necessarily complacent, but it's comfortable, and it just makes you want to do better for them as well as like myself.
Have you got a chance to check out Lambeau Field yet? Have you been, I know it's probably fast and furious right now, a little bit of a fire hose situation, but as I know, there's a lot of legacy and a lot of stuff going on in Green Bay. So just kind of curious impression. You talked about the coaching staff and the organization, but I guess I'm wondering overall the Packers organization, how that's suited you so far.
Oh yeah, I mean everyone from top to bottom is here, and they're here. We're all here for each other, and that's the thing that I was kind of taken a little bit by surprise, because some people that I've talked about or talked to before coming up here throughout college and everything like that, it was always like, understand, NFL's a business, and it is a business, but the from my experience here with the Packers, this has been a family. Everyone looks out for each other. Everyone makes sure that everyone's on their stuff, and they make sure, like, you're having a down day, there's someone there to pick you up. There is no, all right, well, that's his problem. It's a very family environment. It's friends and everything. And speaking on Lambeau, I did get to walk out and walk into the stadium and walk on the field a little bit and come up. And I remember calling my dad and telling him, I was like, hey, I got to walk on Lambeau. And because he and we've talked about it for years, about just the history of football and everything like that. And all we could both say was just like, man, that was pretty cool.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So, just kind of shifting gears a little bit. What is your, story off the field? Like, if your friends or family are talking about BR, what are they going to say about BR the guy, not just BR the football player?
I really don't know if I should say that on the podcast.
Well, we are family programming here, but don't worry about it. You go ahead and share whatever you'd like. That's fine.
Yeah, no, it's I'm a big family person myself, and I also believe that my close friends are my family. Those are bonds that been built from day one of understanding, school and everything. I come from a very small town, and it's just a close knit community, and everyone looks out for everybody. And I like to think that all of them would say that I look out for them. Like, we're all kind people, and just everyone looks out for the best in each other.
Where'd you grow up? I know Old Dominion's in Virginia, right? But where did you kind of come from prior to that?
I grew up in a place called Jefferson, South Carolina.
Okay. Have you ever played in cold weather before? I have to ask, man.
Yeah, Old Dominion gets pretty chilly.
Yeah, Virginia can get cold, right?
Yeah, especially there on the water of that. I think we were used to a pretty solid wind daily coming off of that, especially during winter workouts. That was always fun, spring ball time and everything. But yeah, I have a little bit of experience in the cold. I don't know if I necessarily understand Wisconsin cold yet.
Well, fortunately for you, contrary to what a lot of people may believe, it doesn't really start getting all that cold until typically into November, early December. But when it's cold, it's cold. That said, you guys get to stand on the sideline with your, heaters and everything else. So us fans are the ones that are really having to deal with the cold. I say that in jest.
Wag says that as he sits on the couch with a beer in his hand while you all are getting crushed by the snow.
We've gone to some negative degree games before, and I'll tell you what, it's like nothing else when you're playing Lambeau at night in December. So I know that's something that if you have that experience here this season, I'm not sure if I remember exactly what time most of the games are later in the season in our home game schedule, but it's really a special environment. I know we'll have some night games at Lambeau this year, but that's something that is definitely something to look forward to.
And BR, I'm curious, kind of sticking outside of the game. I always love to ask the question because I'm genuinely curious. Like, are you a music guy? What do you listen to before games? What is that like? Because like everybody's got a different relationship with prior to game, and even just like driving around in their car. Do you do music, or what are you into?
Yeah, I'm a huge music guy. Even dating back to back when I was in middle school, early high school, and everything like that, playing, and I played in the band and everything. Like, I love music.
What instrument did you play?
I was a brass guy.
Cool.
Kind of went from trumpet to baritone, played a little tuba. Everything was fun. It was very enjoyable. Yeah. But when it comes to music, the two songs that I just have to listen to every game and this will go from the one end of the spectrum to the other, is Drops of Jupiter. Got to listen to that. I don't know why, but it just puts me in a mood to sit there and just feels like everything's good. And then whenever I'm right before game time, I'm ready to get hyped up. I listen to Long Hair by the Last Mr. Big.
Yeah, no way. This is awesome. Oh man. Okay. So now we know what Wags, we know what we're jamming to, and we head up to training camp this year to give BR some noise in the sidelines.
Oh yeah.
For sure. We'll get that mixed tape put together, right? So so BR, just kind of curious, is there any teammates that you've really connected with in some of the OTAs and the rookie orientation that you've had so far?
Yeah, I will. Probably the easiest, I guess, segue of understanding this would probably be Anders Carlson, the kicker we drafted. He and I, we've trained together a couple of times before in the past and everything, but we've definitely built a much closer relationship since being here day in and day out. And Anders is an awesome guy, great sense of humor, and I'm a humor guy, so we get along very well every day in practice, and it makes everything go a whole lot easier.
Cool. No, that makes sense. I mean, so I again, like, I don't want to take up too much time. I guess I'm just curious now. We're you've got some more OTAs. What do you see as success at the NFL level for yourself? Is there, what are you hoping to do? I know you're battling. You're going to try to make this ball club, but I mean, what do you consider success and over the next 1-2 seasons here? Is it making the ball club, sticking around, or professionally, what are you looking to accomplish?
Yeah, I mean, of course, I think I'm falling in the boat along with most of everyone else that gets to the NFL, and that's just to make the ball club, of course, make that 53-man, be able to play week in and week out, and get to be a part of the National Football League and just stay a part of the National Football League for as long as I can.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So, BR, I just want to say that we're going to be certainly on the lookout for you and really rooting to see you do well, particularly in preseason. You get opportunities to get out there in the field and show what you can do. I think one of the things that's really, important to recognize is kind of Dane asking that question. No matter what happens, whether it's with Green Bay or if you get an opportunity somewhere else in the NFL, there's not a lot of jobs out there, right? But I think, as you said, you're in a perfect environment and situation with the people that are around you to really grow and continue to hone your craft every day. So we're looking forward to seeing what you can do out there, and certainly wish you well as you move forward in that competition.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it very, very much.
Oh man, we're so grateful to have you on. So Wags, are we missing anything? Last things?
I don't think so. BR, we really appreciate you. And before we sign off and let you go, do you mind giving us a nice big Go Pack Go?
Of course, man. Go Pack Go.
Go Pack Go.
Go Pack Go. BR Hatcher, long snapper for the Green Bay Packers. Thank you so much, BR. We sure appreciate you, man. Good luck. We'll be cheering for you, and all the legends out there will be too.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you guys for having me on. Have a good night.
You too. Thank you.
Every year I know we gonna go hard. We been that team ever since Bart started. All my cheese heads go pack go. Ain't show with no mercy, cutting no slack, no. I ain't a bad sport and I'll even wish you good luck. Only